Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something pretty fascinating, a way to treat depression that takes a classic, trusted therapy and supercharges it with a tool you might not expect. We're talking about unlocking the power of the mind. All right, let's just jump right in with a question that really gets to the core of this whole thing. Think about major depressive disorder, or MDD. You probably picture it as one specific illness, right? But the reality? It's way more complicated. In fact, two people can get the exact same diagnosis and not share a single symptom. Not one. And this just blows my mind. It shows you the sheer scale of what we're talking about. So the official diagnostic manual has this checklist of symptoms for MDD. But here's the crazy part. If you do the math on all the possible combinations of those symptoms that can lead to a diagnosis, you get over 14,000. It's not one single thing, it's this huge spectrum. Okay, so how do you even begin to treat something so varied? Here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the depression puzzle itself. Then we'll look at the standard go-to treatment, CBT. We'll bring in that unexpected ingredient, hypnosis. Then we'll check out the evidence for putting them together, see what it actually looks like in a therapy session, and wrap up with what this all means for creating a more powerful mind. All right, first up, the depression puzzle. I mean, if the symptoms can be all over the map, what's the cause? You can probably guess the answer isn't some simple, single thing. It's not just one gene or a straightforward chemical imbalance like we used to think. And this chart, it's a great way to visualize how we understand it today. It's called the biopsychosocial and lifestyle model, which is a mouthful, I know. But basically, it shows that depression is born from this really complex mix of things. You've got your biology, genetics, then you've got psychological stuff, like your habits of thinking. There are social factors, like your job and relationships. And of course, lifestyle, sleep, diet, exercise. It's all connected. No one thing is the culprit. Okay, so given how complicated this is, where does therapy even start? For years, the gold standard, the most well-researched approach, has been a specific kind of psychotherapy. And that is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. You've probably heard of it. It's one of the most studied therapies on the planet, and its core idea is super practical. It's all about helping you see and change the vicious cycles of thoughts and behaviors that keep you stuck. It's not so much about digging up your distant past, but more about giving you real skills to deal with what's happening right now. Yeah, CBT is not just about talking. It's really a toolkit for your brain. It starts with just understanding what depression even is. Then you get into the real hands-on stuff, setting small, winnable goals, tracking how what you do affects how you feel, learning how to face the things you've been avoiding, and, this is a big one, learning to spot and challenge those automatic negative thoughts. It's all about actively learning new skills. Look, CBT works. It's a powerful tool for a lot of people. But with those 14,000 different presentations of depression we talked about, the question is always there. Can we do even better? Can we make this great tool even more powerful? And that leads us to our unexpected ingredient. Now, when I say hypnosis, what pops into your head? Probably some guy on a stage with a swinging watch, right? We need to just push that whole image aside. We're talking about a serious, scientific tool used in therapy. So let's get this out of the way right now. This is not mind control. Clinical hypnosis has absolutely nothing to do with losing control or being unconscious. It's actually the total opposite. It's an active process where you are 100% in the driver's seat. The therapist is just a guide, helping you tap into your own mind to make changes. So, what is it then? Well, think about a time you were so lost in a good book or a movie that the rest of the world just faded away. That's kind of what it's like. It's a state of really focused attention. And in that state, that critical, overthinking part of your brain quiets down a little. This lets you connect more with your emotional, intuitive side, making you much more open to new ways of thinking and feeling. Okay, so we've got CBT, this powerful, practical therapy, and we've got hypnosis, this tool for deep focus. So what happens when you combine them? Is it actually better? Well, let's look at what the science says. Now, in science, if you really want to know if something works, you don't just rely on one study. You do what's called a meta-analysis. Think of it as a study of studies. Researchers go out, they find all the best studies on a topic, they lump all that data together, and analyze it as one giant study. The conclusion you get is way more powerful and reliable that way. And this is what a major meta-analysis from 2021 found. The results were pretty incredible. On the left, you see the effectiveness of just regular CBT. It works. It has a solid effect. But look at the bar on the right. That's CBT times with hypnosis added. The effect wasn't just a tiny bit better, it was a lot better. We're talking a significantly bigger impact. So let's be super clear about what this means. It's simple. Combining these two therapies created a more powerful treatment. It's like they created a supercharged version of CBT. The science is solid on this. Cognitive behavioral therapy with hypnosis, they call it CBTH, is just flat out more effective for depression than CBT by itself. Okay, the data's great, but what does this actually feel like? What happens in the room? Let's move from the charts and stats to see how this stuff actually works in a therapy session. So, one of the worst parts of depression is that feeling of being totally overwhelmed. A goal like, I want to feel better, can seem as impossible as climbing Mount Everest. And you know what? The therapy leans right into that. It uses that exact metaphor, because nobody climbs Everest in one jump. You do it step by step, base camp of base camp. This is a technique called graded tasks. The summit of your mountain, that's the big goal. But base camp, that might just be getting out of bed in the morning. Camp 2 could be taking a short walk. Camp 3, maybe calling a friend. Each step is small, totally doable. And every time you hit one, you build a little momentum. It changes recovery from this one massive, scary thing into a series of small wins. Another huge piece of the puzzle is dealing with avoidance, which is like gasoline on the fire for depression. The therapy helps you spot what's called the trap. There's a trigger, let's say you feel overwhelmed. That leads to a response, like anxiety, which leads to an avoidance pattern. You just stay on the couch. The goal is to switch to the track by swapping that avoidance for an alternative coping skill, and it can be tiny, like doing just one thing. And this is where the hypnosis really cements everything. During that state of deep focus, the therapist will use scripts, and this is a quote from an actual one. It's all about reinforcing these powerful ideas of hope and control. It helps these new beliefs sink in on a much deeper level, that you're more than your depression, and that you have the power to change your path. So let's zoom out. What's the big takeaway here? What does putting these two things together really mean for the future of therapy? All right, let's wrap this up. We've seen that depression is way more complex than we thought. We know that CBT is a really strong evidence-based starting point, but the real game changer is that adding clinical hypnosis makes it so much more effective. It takes all those practical skills and helps them stick, using the mind's own natural ability to learn and heal on a deeper level. And that leaves us with a really exciting thought. This isn't just about a better way to treat depression. This is about unlocking potential. It shows that our own minds have these incredible, powerful resources for healing that we're just starting to figure out how to use, which really makes you wonder, if we can do this, what else is the mind capable of? What are we just beginning to unlock?